Aloha, everyone. Thank you for
Aloha.
joining us once again for the Seasider series. Today, we are going to be talking about packing and getting ready to come over to Hawaii and what to expect within that process. And so once again, if you guys missed the other days, my name is Caden Hines, and I'm a student assistant over at International Student Services. And
My name is Vinay, and I'm also a student assistant at International Student Services.
All right, and then we also have a special guest today, because we're talking about packing and coming over to Hawaii. We wanted to include students who recently came to Hawaii themselves, who had that recent experience of what to pack and how it all went down. So he can introduce himself as well.
Hello, everybody. My name is Cannon Lambert, and like they shared, I'm pretty new here, and so I'm going to give you a little bit of advice of, packing and just living situation. I'm definitely still not a pro, so you can ask these veterans over here, but I'm here to help out today.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, just think if you are comfortable sharing your videos, that would be amazing. We would like to know whom we are talking to. It will allow us to connect when you come here on campus.
All right, and then also if another person randomly joins in, just know that is another recently new student who we invited to come, and hopefully they will join. But if not, Canon is more than enough to help us. All right, so to begin, here at BYU Hawaii, you guys know we have several students from all over the country. And so, for some students, Hawaii is not too much different from their home country in terms of climate and geography, but for other students, it's very different. And so we just want to help people, get prepared for what to expect. So first, we're going to talk about the weather here in Hawaii. It's pretty well known for its weather and climate, being mostly sunny and tropical, and gets pretty warm. But an important thing to remember is that sometimes it gets a little chilly as well. So this is something that a lot of people don't expect. And so it's something to keep in mind when you're packing. So obviously you want to pack for warm weather, bring some, warm weather clothes, but it's also good to remember to bring like a jacket or multiple sweatshirts and warm blankets and things like that, because especially at night, it really can get pretty cold, especially in the winter.
Thank you, Kenan. And I think one thing that to remember for those who don't have the similar kind of a weather conditions in their home country would be like Hawaii. It rains a lot here, so it's important. Like I wish I knew it before that I packed my luggage, that I should have more slippers, more shorts, and stuff like that. And also umbrellas, or if you want to have a raincoats. It's available here. If you don't want to spend some money over there, it's available here. You can still purchase here, but that's something that I wish that I knew it before.
Yeah, I agree for sure. Especially in the winter, once again, it rains quite a bit, and it's definitely good to have some rain gear, whether that's an umbrella or a raincoat or something, because sometimes it rains like every day of the week for a lot of the day. And is there anything about the weather that surprised you that you didn't know?
I think for me, yeah, it definitely was the rain. Right now, actually, it's been raining like on and off, and it'll just pour all of a sudden, and then it stops. So yeah, I think I'd just be prepared. Just always have a light coat with you, light jacket, just wrap around your waist. That's helped me out a lot as I've just been hanging out with friends or just going to different places around campus as well. So just always have something with you. That's what I think about.
Another thing to keep in mind that may or may not be a lot different than your home country is that it can be pretty humid out here as well. And so if you're from somewhere that's really dry, it feels a lot different for sure. I don't know how exactly to prepare for that, but just to mentally prepare for the humidity and know that it can be pretty sticky sometimes and be pretty humid. And hence why it rains so much as well. And so Vinay mentioned how you can get stuff here on campus if you don't want to bring it all. And so that's something that we really want to stress to incoming students as well. You don't necessarily have to pack every single thing that you need, because I mean, if you do pack everything, you're likely not going to have enough room. And so there are a lot of things that you can get here on campus. And we've mentioned in our last two sessions the give and take, and this is definitely, like, obviously we've been emphasizing this every time, but this is a good resource for new students because it has lots of various assortment of items that a new student can need, including things like school supplies, clothes, and cooking utensils, which is something that was really useful for me because cooking utensils are not light and they're not really easy to pack, and they take up a lot of space, but they're also expensive to buy. But the give and take has like plenty of cooking utensils that you can get for free. You just have to go and do service for a few minutes.
Yeah, and I think I call it as a wish place. You wish for things in a night or in a week, and you go and give a service, and you happen to see those things over there. So Heavenly Father listens to our prayers. There are people who donate things which are useful for our students, and I have been received so many things that were needed for my family in TVA. So yeah. Okay.
All right, and then so going along with the give and take, of course, if there's things you can't find there, then there's Foodland nearby, which has some things, but it's pretty expensive. So that might be more of like a last resort if you can't find something. If you have access to a car or a bus, when you get here, you can go to a Walmart or Costco that are on the island. Costco requires a membership, obviously, but those are cheaper places than Foodland to get other supplies that you might need that you might have not been able to pack. And also, we've talked about before the campus bookstore, which is a place to get school supplies as well.
And again, it will be an opportunity for making new friends, because if you want to travel out, usually these locations are probably an hour and a half drive. So usually if you go by bus, it may take 2 hours. So you have a friend, roommates who would like you to take you out to those places would be very helpful.
Yeah, sure. All right, next we're going to talk about packing, specifically for going through the airport and what some of those procedures are like right now. So one thing to keep in mind is that most airlines have a weight limit of 50 pounds for the checked bags. So once again, this is why, if there's things that you think you don't necessarily need to have, then you can find a give and take or something, then it might be good not to take those, because you don't want to go over the 50-pound weight limit. If you do, they add like $100 fine or something like that.
Right. And if it's your first time traveling out of your home country, international, the luggage policies are different too. You can check with your airlines. They will let you know how much is the baggage that is allowed for you. And they also have carry-on bags which can be used. And I think it's only one carry-on that is allowed in the airline. So that would be one thing that you want to check with them before you book your flights, then how much luggage is allowed for your flight.
Another thing to know is that if you've never been to Hawaii before, they have some pretty tight restrictions about bringing certain like biological materials like fruits and plants and
seeds, stuff like that,
and things like that. And like there's not, I mean, I don't know why you would need to bring that necessarily, but just to keep that in mind, they won't let things like that go through, because they're really strict about keeping the ecosystem and the environment, keeping things that aren't native to Hawaii out.
Yeah, there was another thing that I want to add in. If you have a connecting flight, so sometime your first flight may allow you to travel with the certain luggage allowance, but the other flight may not. So you would have to confirm that with your travel agent or whoever you're booking your tickets with. That make sure that whatever the amount of luggage or the that you're taking in should be covered throughout your travel. You should not be paying if you have to change a flight.
All right, Kanan, you have probably flown here the most recently. So,
Yep.
what is there anything you'd like to add about your flight experience that we get to Hawaii?
I think for me personally was, for me, I was kind of born and raised with traveling. My father's actually a travel agent. So for me, I'm pretty comfortable with airports. But the one thing I've learned the most is that if you don't know, just ask. That's the biggest one, especially even on campus as well. When you're trying to figure out like where's a good place to get food, like where's certain supplies at, don't be scared to ask. Everyone is willing to help. And everyone has been through the same exact situation of being a brand new student, and they know how sometimes it can be kind of nerve-wracking. And so I think it's just that if you have a question, just ask, because people are just always willing to help.
Awesome. That was really good. See, this is why we included this guy. So good. All right, and then another thing to keep in mind with the travel is another thing that we talked about yesterday as well. But if you missed it, if you don't get tested for COVID before you come, then you're going to have to do a mandatory 10-day quarantine upon arrival to the island, and the housing office should set that up with you when you come here. But you do have the opportunity to get tested. The Hawaii Travel's website lists out specific companies that they are tested partners that you can get COVID tested before you come. And for international students, Japan, Canada, South Korea, and Taiwan currently are eligible to also get COVID tested before. And there's also certain companies within those countries that you can get cleared so you don't have to quarantine before you come. But for all the other countries, you're most likely gonna have to do a 10-day quarantine upon arrival. And once you arrive to the airport, campus should have set up a shuttle service to come pick you up. So you shouldn't be expecting any other transportation to campus. They should have a shuttle coming for you.
Yeah, but that's something to remember, that's something you have to coordinate with the housing. It's not like you send your travel ticket and you will be expecting that you will be coming here and somebody will be there to pick you up. I think they have batches that they take students in right now because of the quarantine guidelines. Recently, I heard it's only on Monday that was pickup time. They will let you know when is the pickup time. So according to that, make your flight arrangements. If you want to use BYU Hawaii travel services, they will be a good place as well to book your flights. You would have to pay for your flight. It's not will be covered by any scholarship.
Awesome. All right. Now we're gonna really have Cannon's moment to shine. We're gonna ask him a few questions for you guys, and hopefully he can give some useful experience. So first, we're gonna ask Cannon, what are some things that, or at least one thing or some things that you wished you would have packed that you forgot to?
That's a good question. I have a funny story about that. So when I arrived, dropped me off here. It was a normal experience, and it was like later at night too. And I'm like unloading everything, trying to make myself feel like I'm home again. And I realized I forgot bed sheets. And so I was like, well, what am I gonna do? So pretty much I just slept with my pillows for that night. And so then the next day I got bed sheets let in Kaneohe, which is like 40 minutes away from here. But I would definitely prefer, like, bed sheets are a must. That's just the best way of doing it. Other than that though, I think just being able to just have I know before I kind of made a mental checklist of just certain things that I knew that I needed. And I also made a list of just like what things I would get when I was here, such as things I was getting here was school supplies, obviously food, other things are just like, I don't know, possible like beach stuff, like beach towels, stuff like that. That was just more like kind of secondhand stuff, but the stuff that I really needed was what I knew for the very first night, like the very first day of what I needed. That's how I divided it for me anyway.
That is some good advice. That kind of covers our next question as well. We're gonna ask, what are some things that you realized you didn't need to bring? Was there anything that you brought that you were like, oh, I could have just gotten this, or I don't need this, that you haven't used at all?
So far, I've used all my stuff. Luckily it's been pretty good, nothing too much, but like, yeah, so far it's been really good for me, is my packing.
Smart.
He's a
I-
traveler.
Yeah.
He knows what to pack.
I know for me, I think my first year, I think I would say that I actually brought too many clothes, too many cold weather clothes. You should bring some. You should bring some for sure. Because like I said, it does get cold at night, but you don't need like so much, like a lot of cold weather clothes because especially in the spring and summer, it gets pretty warm. So have some cold weather clothes, but like not like a ton of it because it takes up a lot of space. And for me, I barely ever used some of it.
Right.
I guess
Go ahead.
sorry, that might apply for people who are more from cold climates like me. I'm from Michigan. It snows a lot, so I was used to bringing a lot of that stuff and having that stuff, but realized you don't need it as much here.
The one thing that, for especially for international students, if you have access to temples or distribution centers, something that I wish that I would have bought. Like there are temple garments available, but it's going to be pricey here a little bit. If you wish you want to buy beforehand in your home country, they are much lower in cost because depending on that area. So that's something that you want to wish that you have enough of those things.
Yeah. All right. And then, okay, our last question for you, Ken. Once again, if you can think of anything, that's great, but if not, it's fine. Are there any items that like, what are the top items that you would recommend people to make sure they have? So you said sheets already, right?
So bed sheets was number one. I would definitely bring shaver would be nice to have. Shaving would be nice. I kind of have balloons. But shaver would be really nice to have. And towel, like just like, also bathroom supplies, like the actual basic stuff of like shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, because you don't want to smell.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you can get
protection.
travel, like the travel packets of
Yeah.
those, because for flying, you can't have too big things of liquid that are too large. That's what I'm trying to say. But the travel ones are great, and they can last you the first 2 days that you're here.
Yeah, that's all you need really. It's just that little bit, and then once you get comfortable, Foodland has some stuff, and then also one big thing that I've kind of discovered is that Foodland won't have everything. So you'll have people here that have cars, so you can have friends and be like, hey, could we go to Walmart or Costco or just to Kaneohe and kind of take like carpool it. That's what I've done, and it's actually pretty awesome because also other people are needing stuff. So it's just that just talk to your roommates, talk to people that you're going to associate with when you get here, and then you'll be able to plan things out of just when you're going to go into town to get certain things.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
We'll open up for students if they have questions.
Yeah, so that is the last of what we have prepared. But yeah, if you guys have questions, then now is the time to ask, and we can discuss those as well to the best of our ability.
Do we have to bring pillows?
If you like your pillow, bring it.
I'm kind of a pillow maniac, so I love my pillow. I
Yeah.
kind of like my kid, so I definitely brought my pillow with me.
Yeah.
Pillows are tough because they take up a lot of space, but they,
Probably buy one.
Yeah, I bought mine too. I came here with my family, so me, my wife, and my son. He was 3 years old, so we got enough luggage allowance. So we got like 9 suitcases. So imagine those 9 suitcases. Out of 2 were only toys that I bought for my son. He remembered each and every toy that he played, or he cannot leave it at home. So yeah, whatever you feel like you want to keep it, you want to bring it. Yeah.
But so yeah, it kind of depends. If you're okay with sleeping without a pillow for the first night or 2, which I have done before, then you can buy a pillow once you get here. But if you really need a pillow, then it might be a necessary spatial sacrifice.
And especially first 14 or 10 days of quarantine, you wish that you had something with you.
True,
you know?
quarantine.
So,
yeah.
so that's the only time that you wish your wish list would be needed.
I think if you do forget certain things and you have to quarantine, the RAs do have things to provide. So like if you forget a pillow or if you forget sheets, you can ask the RAs and they'll give those to you for the quarantine.
And I wish I did that. My sheets, I didn't do that.
Also, what kind of like rain jacket? Like, should it be a big rain jacket or more like a?
No, is it big jacket you want?
Oh, I'm thinking thin, like
Thin
something
jacket,
that's
yeah, very
just.
thin jacket. Yeah, the weather is
But like rain resistant.
What's yeah? What's the
like-
Fahrenheit?
Because sometimes it just pours down.
It's like
I think it will be. What's the weather right now? Yeah, 60 Fahrenheit right now.
so right now it's 75.
75.
But it'll go down to like
Yeah.
70.
So it's not that too much. Yeah, not cold. You're from Michigan, right?
Yeah.
And I'm from India, and I'm still sleepless. And no.
So like this is all new to us. Rain, we don't get that here.
Yeah, well, also the thing is, like I'm from Michigan, so you get used to being in the really cold, but you also get used to it being really warm pretty fast too. So like I'm wearing long sleeves right now, even though it's pretty warm out.
Yeah.
Like, I still feel fine in the long sleeves. So it's pretty weird to see how your body
Yeah.
gets used to the climate. The first night you get here, it might feel like so
Yeah.
hot and
Yeah.
humid.
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing to add.
Depending on the semester.
Yeah. Another good thing to that you might want to get after you arrive on campus is a fan. A lot of
Oh,
students
yeah.
have fans. And those are really good for cooling you down because the hallways don't have AC in them.
Oh
So-
yeah, just remember that there won't be air conditioning here in the Hollies. So that's why you want to spend most of your time in library.
Yes. Yes. And keep all the windows open. All the windows open. Like let it all flow. Like
Then, are there other questions in the chat?
Let's see. So who has? Is there anybody else? I think let's see the chat room.
Okay, one person said, if
Yeah.
I get a COVID test before arriving, do I still have to quarantine at all? I think right now, if you get it certified with the state and the school, then
You get the exemption.
you don't have to quarantine. You get
Yeah.
an exemption.
Right.
But you have to make sure to get that into the state and the school
Okay.
correctly.
Then we have another question.
Some
Can I
places
buy
are
from Amazon?
requiring a 5-day
Sorry?
quarantine.
Yes.
Some
5-day
places are
quarantine.
requiring 5-day quarantine.
Oh, it's a 5-day
on what
quarantine.
documentation you bring.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, Brother William.
So we may need to check with housing to see, because I know some students that have been coming through.
Yeah.
They came from places where there was no COVID. And so they managed to bring some documentation from their Ministry of Health or from their health department. And they were only required to quarantine for 5 days.
Okay, okay.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
So we may need to
Could I
provide
add to
that.
that too?
Yes, Sister Nisi, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Will. And also remember what Kaden had shared, the countries that are listed. He mentioned Korea, Japan, Canada. Which one? What is the other one?
Taiwan,
I'm
I
forgetting.
think.
Taiwan. That if you get a testing result, if you test with one of the partners that the state of Hawaii approves, then you'll be quarantined when you check in here, but you'll get tested and be cleared quickly.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, Will. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Kaden.
Sister Nisi.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so there's a question said, can I buy from Amazon and ship it to campus? Yes, you can. But the thing is, I think you don't know your box
Make-
number.
Yeah, make sure you
That's
touch base with housing. to see
Yes, you have
your-
to let the housing know beforehand that there will be package arriving for your name so they can keep it for you.
Or if you put it under your name, maybe the post office may be able to hold it up. That's something we may need to check because they get a box
Yeah.
number assigned to them. If during the holidays, they have a post
Yeah.
box.
Right.
So I don't know if you can apply for a post box prior to coming on campus. That might be something we need to provide. Or if you
Yeah.
have friends that live in Hawaii, you can have the stuff shipped to
Them receive,
them.
yeah.
That could be
Yeah.
another option.
Yeah.
It really
That's a good
depends.
idea.
Yeah, I know for me, I know I've done a couple packages for Amazon already, and I just did it under my name. And what will happen is that They'll also be underneath your BYU Hawaii email, and they'll send you an email with like a confirmation number and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that's just you just always need to keep posted on that, just to make sure of like if you know your package is there, you're happy to get an email to get to the mailroom, so you can get that package.
Maybe then to be safe, put the university address down, which is 55220 Kulanui Street,
Yeah.
Hawaii 96762.
Yeah.
Can we put that in the chat?
Yeah. And then there's another question called how many luggages? I think that's something you want to talk to your airlines, depending on the luggage. You can bring as many you want. You know, I bought 9.
Yeah.
So
checked bags they'll just cost more.
Yeah.
But carry-ons will have like a limited amount.
Yeah.
Usually. That'll be the airline, usually like 1 carry-on.
Yeah, 1 carry-on.
One person.
Yeah, 1 carry-on, 1 laptop bag. I think that's what they allow you to carry.
I suggest bring 1. You will probably accumulate stuff over time here.
Yeah.
You know, there's stuff that you don't have to bring your whole closet from home. You know, you can purchase and acquire stuff here too to save you having to purchase 3 or 4 pieces of luggage. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like we were saying before. Yeah, there's a lot of resources that you can have here to get stuff after. So
Absolutely.
to save money, you know, to pack more lightly.
So that's something that I feel like as an international, I found that there are things that I bought, I could buy at much cheaper price in some stores here. There are like big stores where you can buy clothing, especially Ross. If you go to Ross, it will have all the girls and boys, kids, you know, the clothing services, like clothing items that they provide, shoes, all the things that you think of, they provide. And I felt that they were much cheaper than what I bought from my home country. So yeah, so it depends, you know, if you feel like you want to get some for maybe at least for 1 semester, get the stuff for 1 semester, and then after that you will be able to get things from here.
We have questions. Do I need to get quarantined when I arrive, even if I got vaccinated? The other one's asking similar question.
Bring your vaccination card if you have. Bring your vaccination card if you have been vaccinated to show proof that you have been vaccinated.
Yeah, very good. Yes, thank you, Will. And also know that the CDC or Center, oh my goodness, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, that's the agency, federal agency, well, it's the agency that dictates and executes the government's orders regarding COVID-19. And right now they've stated that even if you're vaccinated, that you will still need to enter the country with a negative test result. I know the question is specific to quarantine as well. For the state of Hawaii too, it is still, even if you're vaccinated, you will still be subject to the quarantine rules. However, again, as we had shared, that if you are from any one of those countries and you do that pre-test travel test, you will be able to get tested immediately here at the health center and be cleared of quarantine. Now, there's also another thing to add is that if you're traveling to Hawaii, you need to complete the mandatory travel form that's posted on the State of Hawaii portal for COVID-19, and it's in our newsletter, but also our lovely guest here who just arrived for this semester. Did you complete the mandatory travel form when you came to Hawaii?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay. And they give you a QR code or whatever it's called so that you can have the least amount of time to pass through to head over to baggage claims. So make sure that you do complete that beforehand so you don't have to be delayed in line. Okay, thank you guys.
Awesome. All right. I think we've gone through all the questions that are there. Oh, another one.
Okay, what's the question on visa process?
American Samoa resident.
I think Brother William, you want to answer that, or Mrs. Nisi?
The checklist for visa processing. If you're coming as a US national, I don't think you need a visa. As long as your documentation is fine, your passport and all that stuff is in place, then you don't need to go through visa processing.
Thank you.
Okay, then we have a question. Do you have to pay for the mandatory thing? Are we talking about the mandatory safe travels form? Is that?
You want to explain what is?
Yes.
Okay.
Safe travels. No, that's just free to do. Just fill it out and yeah. you
Visa
just have to make-
process none. Okay, go ahead. I was just looking at another message. Will the visa process be required for green card holders? No, ma'am. No, sir. Just make sure your green card is current. That's all. When you're entering the US.
All right.
Okay, great. Okay, I will send that.
I will send that to complete prior to come to Hawaii in order to complete my checklist. I think it's generic. That checklist is generic for all international students. But if you're American Samoan, you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure you complete all the other things for the checklist, like the housing portal, making sure that the safe travel, all that kind of stuff is completed. That's, you'll be fine. But when it comes to visa processing, as long as you got current US documentation to show proof that you're an American Samoa resident, you'll be fine.
So, all right.
Oh, one thing I actually have that came to my mind. So when I first came here, I had all my the vaccinations reports of all kinds of stuff that they require, but I actually forgot to do my TBD TBD test. So what happened for me was I couldn't finish through getting my card and everything like that because I had to go through with that. So I definitely would do that before you get here. It would be way easier. Because for me, when I got here, I had to I was gonna get my card, figure things out, and oh wait, you need to take this test, and then so it's pretty chaotic when I first got here. So make sure you do all the required steps.
But I think just to add to his, the US or the health center requires you to do the test here for international. So even though I have been vaccinated for TB, but still, they will require you to come and get that TB test that you were required to do it. So yeah, for international students required. I don't know if it's for local students, but if Sister Nisi, for domestic, I don't know.
Domestic, you can do it before.
Yeah, you can do it before, but for international, you have to get it done at the health center. And that should be done within, right after your quarantine is over. Great. Is there any other questions? We are almost at the end of our meeting.
Yeah, I think we're over the time actually, which is fine because we love to answer your guys' questions. If we have questions, then we'll answer them.
A skin test. What is
No,
this?
she was answering.
Okay.
She said it.
Who's answering?
You gotta test the color of your skin if it's red, blue.
All right. No other questions? Then
Great.
we'll
Thank you.
wrap it up.
Yeah. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for your time. I hope this session was helpful and just let your friend know that we had this great session and we answered some of your questions.
Yeah,
Wait,
we
put our email and our website.
I think it's you want to do iss.byuh.edu.
iss.byuh.edu is our website for any updates. Also, if you want to communicate or email somebody, it is internationalstudent@byuh.edu. You guys want to put that in the chat?
Yeah, we're doing it right now.
Awesome. Just in case you have any questions, you don't have to wait until the next call. You can email us directly and we'll be able to respond to any of your questions.
and I also have a link to the
Just go ahead.
international testing partners for Hawaii. So for the people who are from the countries like Korea, Taiwan, Japan, this website lists out the companies that are certified to get tested.
Okay.
Listen, Nisi, I think
Where do we put the recording for the session? We're gonna put it on our website.
Sister Nisi has sent something here.
Yep, it will
Yeah,
be
it'll be
through
on the-
Engage.
Okay.
So that's managed by Kaden. Kaden's like, what? And Vinay as well, since this is their little baby here, making sure that you guys are informed. And so let me just share my screen so that you at least have a visual of what I'm looking at right now. So be sure that when you get the invitation to join us, that you accept. And this here is for all of the clubs, the associations, and even for departmental use, like even residential life, which is over housing, the halls and such, you are able to, like, we have 2 more sessions in this series, the Seasider series, so that you see that here. But once you are a member, you'll be able to access the gallery, which will have the videos, including our orientation recording from 2 weeks ago. So we're so excited for you to join us here on BYU social networking platform. Be sure that you attend tomorrow's session and be with us on Friday as we end the series for this month. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah, and we'd like to thank our guest, Cannon,
Yes.
for helping us and giving us that great information. He was amazing.
Wasn't
And-
like
And of course, we'd like to thank our counselors for helping us out as well and giving us additional information too. And thank you guys all
Thank
for
you.
attending. We are so excited to have you guys come to campus, and we had a lot of fun talking with you guys.
And we'll see you
hopefully
tomorrow.
we can help you guys. And yeah, see you tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah, take care.
Aloha.
Aloha.
See you guys.